the City of Angels is black and gold. You are listening to the Heart of LAFC podcast. And now, Joseph Zacher.
Greetings, Los Angeles. Welcome to episode 356 of the Heart of LAFC podcast. We're going to call this one Square because, well, we ended up square for the game, and of course, that would typically mean uncool if you were in the 70s, so I guess that fits the bill. Square is what it is. Now, what are we going to cover tonight? Obviously, we're going to cover the game that didn't go as expected, had two really odd goals. It was a funky night, that's for sure. But we'll also, of course, cover Seattle and traveling up there. They're red hot right now, so it should be rather interesting. We'll talk about the rule changes for the league. Yes, some good ones finally. That helps everybody, let's be honest. We'll cover a little bit of LAFC too. You know how this runs. We'll just get you up to speed, folks. Of course, can't get this going without Tony being in the house. Tony, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. It was like a weird Back to the Future-esque kind of night, you know what I mean, with the odd goals, which we'll talk about later. New kits are kind of cool. They are like our away kits from a couple of years ago, somewhat, as you can see on the live. If you guys want to see it, I have it on right now. Really comfortable. The new style of Adidas is going to make it last a little bit longer because there's no longer iron pressed crest or Adidas and of course stripes. But overall, it fits really well. You can totally tell the difference between the authentic and the replica.
Yeah, it's not even close. I got to be honest. Like, compared to what we saw from the last few seasons, this is a different quality. It really is. It's also slim cut, which is a little different. But the actual jersey color, I got to be honest, it's like one of our away kits from the past. There's not a lot of difference there. But the cut is completely different. So that's nice. The brown vibes are kind of cool. The Los Angeles, again, they hit the mark on that one. Really did. Numbering looks really tight. I hope we use it a lot more than just, a random one-off, We definitely want to see it more because it is a cool look. And no, it is not white. We can't call it white, right? It's not white.
No, I would say cream more than anything,
Yeah.
but
Definitely throwback vibes. So they did a good job. Pat and the rest of everybody. I mean, it was a big crew that made this thing. Good job, guys. You did good. I do like it after all. So good on you. Now, as much as we love the jersey and the vibe and all that, yeah, we didn't love the game that much. That's for sure. But before we cover that, I do want to talk about some good news. You guys probably saw the news break earlier today about the designated player rules that changed. We did want to talk about it a little bit before getting into the game because that is the breaking news of the day. Let's be honest, and it will open up some moves as the transfer window just cracks off. I mean, we're here now, but basically, here's your choice. You can have 3 designated players and 3 under 22 initiative players, or you can have 2 designated players and 4 under 22 initiatives, and up to 2 million in added GAM if you go with the initiative, going for the young talent. Adding to that fun, the other thing you get to do, of course, if you sell a player, I guess you can only convert up to 1.2 mil, 1.215, right? But now you can convert up to 3 million in transfer revenues. That's what they're talking about, the GAM. So it's worth more now to sell players. You get more out of it. It's a good move, I think. I'm not complaining at all. The timing's a little bit interesting as the window just creeps in. Like, was there somebody on the edge that couldn't make a move until this happened? I suspect so, and that's why they're so quick to make this. I think I know who we might be suspecting in this situation, right, Tony? Because it seems to always work that way.
yeah. I believe it's another Frenchman, but
Could be another Frenchman, could be an aging German superstar trying to go somewhere else. But yeah, some teams that were a little locked in right now aren't as locked in today because of this rule. So ultimately, though, I think it's a good plan. Those that want the youth movement can do the youth movement. I know you're like, it's only one extra. It means something, though. If you're really developing and reselling players, which is what this league does, I kind of feel I might not be. I don't think I'm off in this, but we've rarely had the full 3 DP thing work out for us. I think we'd be more on the other side of the 4 under 22s. Um, Traditionally, that would be the better fit for LAFC. Am I wrong on that, Tony?
No, it's usually we have two great DPs, and then the third
Mhm.
always been like a lemon is the best way to
Yep.
say it. I don't think we've ever done. We could have, like I said, this initiative would probably have helped out for all the people that want to keep talking about it and bring it back. If Chicho was still around, X, Y, and Z, because we're playing Real Salt Lake, this would have helped a lot last year to keeping him, because then we have an extra DP spot. We can keep him, but honestly, with us, it's always been development. Look at, like, we went with from Chicho to Bogus, Buke, I think a couple
Yeah.
more, couple more.
Well, fall.
Yeah, Fall was another one, but again, Fall was a action because of what has happened because of COVID. You know what I mean? And also,
Mhm.
who am I missing? We
Buick
sold,
Buick just got sold, and
not
Valero
Buke,
just got sold, right?
not Buke. Our
Um,
younger defender, our younger forward that we used to have, and I'm like blanking on,
Rodriguez.
not
Dan
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez? No.
Um,
Oh, sh
22. I'm gonna blank on it. If you guys know in the chat, let me know, because I'm like right now it's like on the tip of my tongue and I just don't remember at the moment.
Horta?
Oh no, Horta. Mind you, Horta actually did something finally after leaving us for a while ago.
He
If you guys
lifted a
know,
trophy, didn't he?
yes, he did.
He did. So,
But
yeah.
but
No,
as you can see, there's a lot of young development players that we could have saved and used the extra 2 million extra. So
I mean, it's really flexible for you now because you're sitting there and from year to year, you might wanna change the vibe here, right? And go, "Okay, well, I got a better young talent, so let's go the other way," and you don't have that death sentence if you get 3 old farts like Toronto gets stuck with, right? Where they go crazy with
mhm.
the old money, and then now they got nowhere to go. No, this gets it's just kind of a get out of jail free card. So, in many cases. So it works. This works. I like it. I think they're moving forward. I'd like to see more, but I'll take any sort of progress at this stage. Other things, of course, out there. Rumorville. I saw there was one Colombian player linked to us yet again.
Mhm.
I won't go too much into that either. Rumors of another player leaving. That's running around too. We don't want to go into much into that either. Again, hoping it doesn't happen, but yeah, there goes that. Outside of that, let's get into the game. Let's talk about it because what we thought we were getting into in the early minutes turned into a very different situation. Y'all know you were ready to party. It didn't quite work that way. But yeah, so RSL comes to town. Of course, we have revenge on our minds, right? Payback for the snow game. We're going to get these guys. That was the whole thing. We were all amped to make it happen. Early on, Olvera makes his way back in the lineup, and it's a show. So basically, the lineup for this match, which I think surprised some people, you had Lloris in goal, you had Long and Segura, right? Long and Segura as your center backs. Hollingshead and Campos, we kind of expected that one because of the situation. We had Sanchez, Tillman, Atuesta as our midfield, so the strongest one we could possibly field up top. Bogus goes back to the middle, Bouanga to the left, Oliveira to the right. Yes, back in the lineup after coming back from Uruguay from international duty, right into the starting lineup. Go to the other side. What did they feature? Hey, a 4-2-3-1. No surprise there. In this case, it was Vera and Quinton as your center backs. We mentioned Quinton as being the potential to go in because of injury situations, suspensions, whatnot. Yeah, they had to make some moves. Big Math, of course, was in goal. Hidalgo and Catranes were your outside backs. Palacio and Ojeda were your defensive midfielders for RSL. Crooks took that attacking midfield role. Chang and Luna were your outside midfielders. So that's your solution right there. And of course, Julio, who we thought might be the guy, became the guy. He was your target striker on the day. Kind of rumored that one. It happened. So what happens? I think as we were still getting settled into our chants, which we had a bit of a false start. I won't lie, that was kind of funny and kind of sad at the same time. But we had a false start. Done with that. We moved forward. We got strong. And by the time we figured out what the hell was going on, we have a highlight, right, Tony?
Oh yeah, 5th minute, Oliveira with a blunder by the keeper. They say the assist is by Atuesta, which is very odd. Yeah, if you go look on FootMob, they say the Atuesta assisted that, but realistically, what ended up happening is the keeper decides, like, he was playing very sweeper keeper-esque style throughout the whole game, and this is the reason. And mind you, sweeper keeper is a good one if you're good at it. Because which it wasn't, because it was like, because miss kicked the ball, Oliveira gets the ball, puts his head up, and just kind of floats it into the box, into the goal, and we're up in the first minute 1-0, and it was just like, okay. And then a couple minutes later, not Oliveira, who was it? Bogus. Oh yeah, Bogus. Yeah,
It was
Bogus.
Bogus for long
Yeah,
distance, yeah.
yeah. Puts his head up a second earlier, gets another goal because the keeper off his line quickly had that opening. He puts it up there, floats it in, and luckily the keeper was able to save it. Scariest moment though, which was in the 17th minute, Tillman gets subbed out. Kamara comes in, and Tillman's is out. I haven't heard any word on his injury report since the game, but it's go for it.
So, I mean, let's be honest. Those first 17 minutes, we were the team. We were dominating these guys. We're owning these guys. Tillman was doing the job. We looked the part. We looked like us. And the minute he goes down, we kind of lose our identity in a way. I mean, dude didn't look like LAFC after that moment, which is scary. 17 minutes into a game, getting into a situation where the guys weren't sure what to do. They looked really off. Now, I will say the goal that we did score, as fluky as it was, what I figured on this was that McMath is right-footed, and he needed to make a play with his left foot and did everything in his power to still use his right foot when he had no business using his right foot as falling down, and that's how we got that lovely gift from him. Really weird. Yeah, your body going the other way and you still try to kick out at the ball with zero weight behind it. We'll take the gift. It's fine. That's great. Only problem is we were in a giving mood on the day as well, right, Tony? And after we make the forced changes, 33rd minute, what happened?
Vera off a free kick. From what I saw, it ricochets off a player, off the back foot of a player. It wasn't even like a ricochet like the player tried to do. It just stuck his foot out. It redirects it enough, or it just kind of rolls into the goal, and we're tied 1-1, and that's how we go into the half. Well, Kamara gets a yellow card. Yeah.
Kamara does get a yellow card.
Yeah,
I will say this.
it does worse.
Both goals were flukes. Straight away. Both they were flukes. It was Ilie in this case, which he did something that he never does, right? Because you just don't do that. He flung his foot out to try to redirect the free kick. It had more pace than I think he thought it had. And so rather than bending around the post, it went right for the corner. And our goalkeeper had already positioned himself for a straight on forward shot because that was where it was going, and all of a sudden it changes pace and his whole body weight is not where it needs to be, because why would you do that? Especially Ilie, an experienced player. And there was no way he was going to get to it. And it did look like soft goal, I know, to most people, but if you watch the replay, like, fooled you. I mean, total deflection play. And that was it. Calling it a goal for Vera, I'm a little questionable on there. I think it probably should have been an own goal. Again, if you flick your leg out and you redirect the ball into the net, it wasn't like it deflected off you. You made a motion. It probably should have been an own goal, but it is what it is. Get the half. Okay, another half to go. Maybe we'll figure things out. Tony, what happened in the second half, man?
Second half, it was just more of a, I don't know. Like I said, like you said earlier, we lost our identity. We had opportunities, but they had more opportunities than us. If you look at we'll go over the stat sheets at the end of the game, but they had more shots on goal than us. But we could have put this away, and we didn't. it was a very difficult game. They made a lot of substitutions. The 86th minute, which was very concerning to me. I think this might have been more for the Seattle game. Bogushko comes out, Martinez goes in, and the other one, which was very strange, in the 68th minute, Oliveira comes out and Chanot comes in.
And Oliveira was hurt.
Yeah.
No question about injured, difficult to walk on the day. After the fact, he looked hurt.
Mhm.
I don't know if because wear and tear, traveling, but yeah, he came up lame after that, which stinks because now you have Tillman and Oliveira looking like they're not gonna be ready for the next one. At least I don't think they will be. I'll be surprised. Maybe Tillman because he looked more precautionary, but Oliveira, yeah, he did not look right on the night at all after that. So that's gonna lead to definitely our Seattle conversation because that was the big defeat of the day is that we were losing actual bodies. The week before we were losing bodies. Again, 3 games, short amount of time. These things do have. We remember this from last year.
Mhm.
When you hit this thing, it becomes an issue, and so we suffered through this one. It was another night, of course, where we could have made big advantages in the standings as Cincinnati got dropped, right? They
Mhm.
blew it, and we could have really gotten close in the Supporter Shield standings. And we lost 2 points in the race. We lost first place in the West technically, right? Because we got games in hand, but
We still
yeah,
have to, we still have to. It's not promised yet what those
no, you
points
have to
are.
earn it
Mhm.
as you go play Seattle this weekend. Yeah, again, bad news all the way around. And you were talking about how we ceded possession, we ceded the shots, we ceded everything towards the second half. They had 19 total shots in the game. We had 9. Yeah, not pretty. Um, Shots on goal, yeah, we did block a lot of shots. We only allowed 2 through. Yeah, one happened to be the goal, but the chances, the push, the more than likely the team that pulled the game out would have been them, and they didn't do it. But they were happy with the draw on the road. Let's be real; they won the season series so far, right? That's what you're doing. Win at home, draw on the road. So they got what we needed. We didn't get what we wanted. But we got to move on, push, move forward. Better than losing, but yeah, it feels like a loss. That's for sure, Tony. You're feeling the same way. I mean, it felt like a big defeat for us.
Oh yeah, it was overall. It didn't feel like a tie. Like usually, it's like it's points, but this was not. It doesn't like I didn't come out of it. I'm like, all right, we got points. We're doing all right. It felt like we left so much on the table. We dropped points, so we dropped in the table. And overall, you could tell on the players after the game, they knew they left a lot on the table. You know what I mean? And they didn't
Hmm.
treat this as a tie. They treated it as a loss the way they were coming off the field.
Yeah, yeah. They wanted to correct. They needed something to hang on to before we head to Seattle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Columbus was really disheartening for everybody, and this was the game where it's like, let's get back to the mix. Let's get these guys. Let's get our revenge. Move on. Get some momentum because Seattle is flying right now. We got to get it, and we didn't get the vibe we wanted. We didn't get the feel we wanted. Didn't get close to the performance, and then the injuries made it that much more difficult on us as we head to the turf, right? As we head to the nasty turf. So yeah, and a draw they didn't think you were gonna get. We got to move forward. Thankfully, we're not that far back. Got the draw. We're in the mix because teams didn't take advantage when they needed to, as well as they should have. So yes, we dropped 2 games that we didn't really expect. But in the big picture, did it hurt us that bad? Not really. Doesn't look pretty, but we're in the mix. And we should get some momentum. We have to get momentum in a place that's very hard to get it. We put ourselves in that position. And that's where we're at. Tony, your final thoughts on this match before we get to the comments. I see a few of them out there.
Final thoughts on this match is it's we came away with points. We're still in the race. Not the best overall performance from the boys, but again, the multiple games back to back to back is finally catching up with us, and hopefully with with against Seattle, we come back stronger and use this to our advantage before we go to the MLS advertised paid tournament.
Yes, and of course, All-Star down after that. So there you
Mhm.
go. All right, let's get those comments. Definitely, guys, throw it in the mix here. We love what you guys have to tell us. We dig the convo. We do. We do. Let's see what we got from you guys. David Day, limit to the under 22 salary. They're young DP deals, is what they are. So there's more freedom. Yeah, this doesn't hurt us, that's for sure. Um, yeah, I didn't see a limit to the salary. It's under 22 initiative. You could add more if you want more. Let's see. Dave says Morgan Familia. Good morning to you, sir. Straight out of Netherlands. We have Jason jumping on. Good stuff, man. Says, how's it going? Digging the third kit. Dave loving the third kit as well. Dude, it's a good vibe, man. It's cool. It's nice. Oh no, Dave's asking what DP unlimited salary, U22 salary related to TAM GAM. No, transfer revenues. Okay, so when you sell a player now, it used to be where the max you could get back if you sell a player was 1.215, right? But now you can get back 3 million. So if you sell a guy for a good amount of money, you're actually going to help your budget better. You get GAM money to purchase more players and use that towards purchasing players. That's what it's basically. It's not limiting who you're buying as a under 22 initiative player, is giving you a chance to actually get into the transfer market, right, and pay some fees, and get more money to do that by getting 3 million instead of 1.25. If you say you can make a $5 million deal, right? There's limits how much you get back on your GAM. It's more. That's what it's saying. You get more buying power if you sell a player off. That's what the limit is that we're talking about. Oh, David Day says, free Chicho. What did he do say anyway? So here's the deal. This is how I know it's bad. No one knows what he said. No one wants to talk about what he said. It's just he took the L and is disappearing for a series of games. That sounds bad, man. But no one's saying anything. So we can only make conjecture and can assume that it was the conflict against Portland on the field. Something must have been said. That's all we can figure. We don't know. We ultimately don't know. Tight-lipped on that one. Dave says we need to play more vertically to relieve the pressure some, not just build from the back. So this is where I'm going to come back to it, and we've said it for years. The one guy we've never had in this team is a proper playmaker.
Yeah.
We've never had it. And against Columbus, it got exposed because they do have one, right? They do have one. In this game, it was the same story. There was nobody there to control tempo. And yes, Ilie can do that part-time. He wasn't doing it on this day. Atuesta at times can do that, but we don't have a dedicated guy that's like, this guy's gonna be the general out there. We don't have someone like that. And I think in games like this, where there's a guy really dictating whether we're doing a short pass game or we're going short, long, right? It ain't happening. We don't have the maestro out there, right? Like this is not happening. So when you say vertically, I'm with you because you need to vary the approach, and there's nobody out there taking charge to do that. So hey, you can have 3 DPs. So maybe that would be something we could look at. How many seasons down the line? Still looking for that guy? I don't know. Am I wrong, Tony, in just
No,
just saying it that way? Yeah. I
you're not
mean,
wrong.
yeah. We're gonna play a team this weekend that has one, right?
Mhm.
Right? Yeah. It's frustrating. A winger can't solve everything. We know this. Yeah. So that's Dave. I'm with you, man. It looked one dimensional 2 weeks in a row here. That's for sure. David says thumbs up. There it is. Yeah, we weren't talking about getting capped on this thing. We're talking about making money off these guys. There's now a greater benefit to going with young stars, rising stars, because you actually get more money back. I know the whole, I got to send all that great money I just made to the league. Yeah, it still exists. It's just to get more back. All right, guys. Good stuff on the comments. Definitely add more as we go. I know there's going to be some conversations about our least favorite team, Seattle, our old rival. I feel like that's who they are now. It's us and them, right? Traditionally. Lately, that's been the story. So, yeah, those guys. So, all right, let's move on to talk a little bit because there's a little bit of news from LAFC too. And then we'll get into some community. That's what we do. All right, LAFC 2, what's going on with those guys? Well, we did have a signing, right? For those of you asking me in the stadium, who's that guy? This is the guy. Basically, it's 21-year-old forward Nicholas Sullivan, I should say. He was there, right, Tony? I mean,
No,
saw him
he was
warming
there.
up.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like number 70 something.
And everybody was like, who's that guy? I remember it was pretty funny in the stands. But yeah, that's him, guys. A new face coming up from LAFC 2. We'll learn more about him as we go. That's for sure. Also, LAFC 2 is traveling to Seattle as well to take on the Tacoma Defiance at Lumen Field. What? Not Starfire? Yeah, at Lumen Field, Saturday at noon. Free to stream on MLS Next Pro. So there you go. That's what's going on. They do have a game against Seattle. They got to get some results here. The good thing is the boys are up there too. So we'll see who's available. We'll see who gets listed for this one. Should be interesting. That's for sure. Now, Tony, I'm going to throw it right back over to you, sir. You got any community news for us?
With community news, it's just the same as we did last time. There are some watch parties going on. I do have to preface this moving forward. Be careful out there. If you're gonna go to the watch party, just make sure you're okay. There is a people are getting sick, is the best way to say it. It's just happening. A lot of people are coming out positive. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to fear monger or anything like that. It's just a concern. Just moving forward, just be careful. But I know Black Army will be at Mount Low. If you're able to make it, they'll be showing the game. There won't be an official watch party, but we will be there. Some people will be there, so if you need to watch the game there, you're more than welcome to. And I believe that TSG, D9, and Expos will be hosting a watch party soon. Details have been yet released from what I've been seeing, but it's from what I know they're going to the Creature Comforts is the best place to say it. So I don't know why that was a tongue twister for me, but yeah. So
Different name. Yes.
exactly. Yes. So they'll be there, and then of course the art show is still going on. If you still need to make submissions, you have to do it by July, I believe, or September 15th, if I remember the right day. The notes are not coming up right now, and they didn't go on for some reason. And then, of course, the beach day is still available, and that is about it for community news. Oh, the Mo Fazio futsal core kickball tournament is still going on, so you still have time to register a team. There's still spots available, so if you want to have some fun, give back to the community to help support Mo and build the stadium, that is a perfect opportune time, and just have fun.
There we are. Thank you, sir, for doing that. I know, guys, it's pretty short and sweet tonight for very obvious reasons as we're pulling 2 episodes and getting ready for the weekend. Yeah, we're keeping it short and sweet. We even started later, right? So there it is. All right. So I'm just going to jump right over to Black and Gold Vinyl Club Minute. No, I don't think this is the best album from this band, but I do love the song, and it is one of my favorites all time. Since we're going to play the 70s game, I'll throw it out there. Love this song from Led Zeppelin, Immigrant Song. You all know it didn't play at the stadium last night, so it kind of irked me. So that's why I brought it up tonight. Because how do you not think that everybody gets pumped listening to that song? It's on Led Zeppelin 3, which is not their greatest album. It's a very big departure from what people were used to when they came out with this thing, so it threw people off. Wasn't as hard hitting, obviously. Know what I mean? But that song was there. And so, yes, that's why I went Led Zeppelin 3, because I love Immigrant Song. So there you go. I mean, Vikings and all that plundering fun. So there you go. Now, outside of Black and Gold Vinyl Club Minute, let's get into it. Let's talk about why we're here. It's our previews. It's what we do best, the previews. Playing Seattle this weekend. It's on yet again. I know the last time we talked about these guys, they were having some problems. Tony's shaking his head. He knows they were looking horrible at the start of the year. But guess what? That lowly lost Seattle vibe is dead. Old Seattle is back. Of course, we know we got to play these guys in the Open Cup pretty soon. I know in August. But guess what? We got a league match. We got a first test at their house. It's going to be on the 20th. That's right. This weekend, Saturday, 7:30 p.m. They're coming off. I'm going to count this. The last time they lost was June 8th to Kansas City in Kansas City. Otherwise, it's been what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games without a loss. And I think 5 wins in a row, if I'm looking at this correctly. More than that, right? 6 wins in a row. Yeah, they're not losing, and they're playing good teams. Like they made St. Louis look like fools in the last game. They're dialed in, guys. They're looking like Seattle of old. I will say that right now. Mr. Schmetzer, would you coach the national team? I'll just throw that out there right now. I'll say it again. Gets the best out of the guys he has. He's doing it again, guys. This is going to be a tough one for us. They're flying now. How are the standings looking for them? Because they started the year so terribly, they're currently in 6th place. You're like, what? Yeah, 10, 7, and 7. But remember, they were winless for a while to start this thing, but they're coming back. Of course, we're 13, 5, and 5, 44 points versus 37 points. Again, tight West anyway, but they're coming up. Ranked 18th in goals scored. That's changing. They've won their last 6 matches, as I said, unbeaten in 10 home games. Lumen is Lumen. They always play well there. We, of course, have an advantage. I think we have 10 wins versus their 5 wins in our series. But Lumen has always been a troublemaker for us. Right, Tony? It's never been a good place for us.
No, it's never a good place to go up there to play them. It doesn't matter what they are in the season. It's always difficult, even if they're having a bad season. It's again, it's a rivalry game. It used to be a very cakewalk, and now it's become more of a back and forth affair.
Yeah, I mean, we've had these periods where these guys show up, and they do show up, and they've done things we haven't been able to do yet, which irks us too. I'll just leave it there. But yes, now, who stands out for these guys? Who's the story this year? It's not a surprise. Let's read them off. Again, we know these guys too well. Jordan Morris, 9 goals on the year. Raul Ruidiaz, 8 goals on the year and only 20 games played. Guess who's back? Albert Rusnak. Yeah, that guy, former RSL guy. 4 goals. Paul Rothrock is a new face we're going to deal with. He's got 2 goals. And down that line, well, you got to go way down the line. But there's a lot of guys that have scored a lot of ones. Danny Wasowski's in this team as well. Doesn't start usually, but he's there. He's got a goal. Who's your top assist guy? Of course, Rusnak, playmaker. It's what he does. He sets people up, controls tempo, thing that we've been missing for since season one. They got one. It's Rusnak, 11 assists in 22 games. Obed Vargas, 6 assists already. Roldan, only 2 assists, but we all know Roldan. So coming out of the back, right, doing his thing. This team is who they are. There is not a big surprise as to how they approach us. They always approach us the same way. Tony, what system do they usually go with?
The usual fucking system of what was it, 4-2-2 or something like that?
4-2-3-1.
Yeah,
Holding midfielders, kill you on the wing. Do your best to try to get past their aging outside backs. We know these guys too well, right? It's what we do. It's that whole battle of front foot football versus pragmatic
backward.
football,
Yeah,
right?
but
I mean, the 2 philosophies always clashing.
yeah, but the thing, like I said, it doesn't usually feel like they have a one winger up in the front because it usually is never up there, and that's the thing. You know what I mean? That's why I'm like, yeah, it says 4-2-3-1, but never is.
They're pragmatic. They're pragmatic. That's what they are. So who should we expect up top? Expect Morris. Why would it not be Morris? It's going to be Morris. Rusnak, you're an attacking midfielder. Roldan and Vargas, probably going to hold things down, right? Rothrock and Leo Chu started on the outside mids last game. Yeah, right. That's who they had last time. Game before that, same story. Game before that, same story. Talk about consistency. There you go. Backline. Reagan and Gomez should probably be your center backs.
Mhm.
That's been a consistency. Tolo, a familiar face. Left back. That's the guy we usually beat when we beat these guys. Let's
Yep.
be real. We usually go after him. Look forward to that again. And of course, rolled on, been around forever, doing rolled on things will be your right back. Why would it be different? This is what they do. It feels predictable, but for some reason, it doesn't seem that way when you're on the field. Right, Tony? There's always some dirty trick they have up their sleeve, and they make it hard on us. And you're like,
Yes.
well, who else? Right? Again, they're pretty good with their substitutions. We know this already. They've got excellent management, game management. When they want to play ugly, they play ugly. When they want to play pretty, well, they do that from time to time too.
Mhm.
They're the pragmatic side. It's who they are. Other faces, like I said, Danny Masovsky will probably get minutes in this game. He's probably going to end up being Morris's sub at some point as needed. Pedro de la Vega is probably going to feature as well. Daniel Leva might come in too. Um, Reed Baker Whiting is another name that seems to come up a lot in their games, getting minutes. So yes, like I said, they make teams look bad when they need to. They take advantage of things when they need to. It's never going to be an easy game against these guys, especially on the turf, and they know how to take advantage of it. Right? No shock, Tony.
No
Are you
shot.
expecting something special from these guys, or it's going to be more of the grind LAFC to death, counter them? That's how they're going to take us down.
I would be more surprised if they don't show up. That would be the biggest surprise of the day.
What if they not shown up against us though?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If you want the biggest surprise of this game, if them not showing up, but they always do. So
Now we have that history of not showing up against them,
Mhm.
especially up there. Now we have had results there. Not
Yes,
lying.
yes.
We've got some good results, some special results. So it's not like it's past us to go get the job done, but the lineup has some questions going into it. That makes it a little bit harder. Some suspensions are ending, so that helps as well. I didn't go heavy into who was missing for them this week, but again, plug and play, they'll be fine. It's more of us and what's going to happen with our lineup that I'm concerned about. So, Tony, I go to you. Look, I think Olvera's out, which we were fine without him in the lead up. We were okay. We seemed fine. Do you think it's going to be Bwanga, Kamara, and Bogus for this thing?
It kind of has to be. Well, we'll see because it's like in Kamara came in really early, so we'll see off the fresh if how much fresh legs he has, or it'll be a quick start and then off in like the 60th minute, hopefully. But that would be my guess. You could, if you wanted to, put in Buanga, Bogus, and Martinez if you want to go in that direction, or Daz. We do have options, but it's in like, but then it goes. If one of them starts, the other one's going to be subbed in, and that's how you go with it, you know. So it's up in the air what Steve wants to do with that. So, but the two constants, I would say, with what you were saying is Buanga and Bogus.
Yeah, I think that's the story. They're going to try to get in around Tolo. You know that's who they go after. Every time we play them, usually Bwanga shifts to wherever Tolo's at. They find their way, and they kind of the one thing that we're really good at is trying to get yellow cards off of their outside backs. We seem to make an art of that. That's our strategy against them. So you
Mm-hmm.
see a lot of conflict. Bogus, Bwanga will take his turns. He'll go after Roldan for a bit. Then he'll go after Tolo for a bit. Then he'll hang in the center. You see that motion that we do. We keep it really varied against this team traditionally. That's what I've seen. I don't think I'm wrong in that one. But yeah, we do pick on certain players in these games because they pick on us. Now, the midfield's a problem. Tillman went down this last game. He got taken out. Is it precautionary? Like, let's not take a chance. Is it legit? I'm worried. Now, coming into turf, I don't think they're going to risk him. No way. They're not going to risk him. I can't see it. Sanchez, probably going to play, even though the turf ain't his friend either. Atuesta, definitely going to play. You know his history. Turf's not his friend either. But that's who we've got. So if it's not Tillman, who are we going with, Tony? Is it a Duenas kind of day? Get some Scrappy Doo vibes out there?
Kind of have to be doing this for the day. I would say so, because who else do we have to put out there? Because again, usually what we would do is bring back Bogus. He plays in that area, but we have a problematic in the front. So it's like, all right, so if we do not like play it like that, if we say we do instead of Bogus, say we bring back Bogus and we say let's do Boanga, Martinez, and Ordaz, right? Then you can bring back
Yeah.
Bogus. That's the only way Bogus comes back. So it's like, Kickball says Musto if you want to give him a chance.
Yeah, I mean, would they do it? Would you do it against an experienced Seattle? That's why I worry about Martinez too.
Yeah,
He has a reputation, and if there's any team that can get under your skin, it's the Seattle Sounders. They're experts at that stuff. They really are. They've done a great job of messing up some of our guys. So you got to think about experience in this one. They're very good at the dark arts. Really good at it. Now, midfield situation, say it's Duenas. Backline situation. Look, Murillo, he's back, right? Suspension done.
suspension done.
Suspension done. Palencia, suspension done.
Suspension
Suspension
done.
done. How are they not in the lineup, right?
Yeah.
You shove them right back in. Now, who goes next to him? Is it Long and Murillo? Is it Chanot and Murillo? Now, Chanot got limited minutes in this game. Is that a tell as to who's going to start this game? Tony, I go back to you. I'm feeling it's going to be Chanot. Do you think it's Chanot?
I believe. Oh, sorry. I had to sneeze. Sorry for the RIP headphone users for that one. But I believe, honestly, I want to say Chanel, but it's like, again, it's the thing that we have to consider is it's a turf game. You know what I mean? Mind you, Chanel has been somewhat okay with turf because where he came from is not necessarily the best grass baseball field. Yeah.
Not pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Chanel, I would say, would probably be the best bet. But if I was a betting man and I wanted to do it, I would probably have Long just to have some speed to like break it down, you know?
Now, Long has had some good moments against Seattle too.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the no look cleat save?
Exactly.
he had some things that work out for him when he plays against Seattle historically. So yeah, maybe it will be him too. I mean, honestly, he's healthy. He looked fine in the last game. He was good on the day. No complaints from me. So it could be either or. I do feel Mario's getting into this mix. He has to. He's rested. Now Hollingshead becomes the other story. Does he start? Do we go with Campos? Tony, who's your pick?
I think Campos stays on the bench, honestly. Like he didn't show too much in last game. And I feel like if anything, he comes in as a sub. He's still trying to I feel like he's like the new Murillo for me, where you'll have some good games with him and then you'll have some bad games with him. So hopefully coming off the bench will kind of push his spirits a little bit better.
Yeah, I do feel like Hollingshead in games against Seattle has his moments, his amazing moments, his sneaky moments. He does things against these guys. I think you need the trickery that he can provide in this game and the ability to move off the ball and know when to move off the ball. I think this is what's essential in this game. Now, as the game progresses, they're going to need a sub because of the age of some of their guys out there. And that's when you can see these other faces come in on our side that can handle the load these days. We've got some dudes that can do the job. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you, man. I think it's Hollingshead too. Now, approach to the game, yeah, Lloris, of course. I'm not going to debate Lloris. He's going to be in the lineup. It is what it is. I know we can shake our heads. I'm still mad at it about Columbus. I'll be there. I'll be okay. Yeah. So that's what the lineup's looking like. We know who's potentially going to come into this. It's just what LAFC is going to show up. The last two games, we've been a ghost of ourselves. It hasn't been the vibe. Could it be fatigue? Could it be injuries we don't know about? We don't know, but we know enough to know that it just, man, we haven't played our part. That's for sure. And yes, the shuffle is real. Seattle will show up. So we don't really have a choice here. It's got to be. This has to be one of those games where we got to go pragmatic with this thing. If it's a counterattack game, then it's the counterattack game, but you got to get a result on the day. This case, if a draw comes out of this game, I'm not going to feel so bad. Tony's probably in the same camp. Like, winning in Seattle's hard. I get it. Can we? Yes. Can we take a draw? I expect no less. We just can't lose this thing. Really important. Tony, your thoughts? You think this is the must-win game?
I think it's a must-win game. Like I'm with you. Like tying up there would be a great, but I feel like we have to win this to keep us in the hunt to be back in first in the break. You know what I mean? Get this momentum before the break happens, and then we're off for a little bit, and just keep the momentum, keep the spirits high. Because I feel like a tie will be keeping the spirits high, but a win will elevate that going into everything moving forward.
You want the 3. You're on the road,
3.
though, right? The
Yeah.
reality is what it is. Are we going to play for the win? I think we will. I think we will. But again, it's a ride when you're playing over there, and things get funky. So, to those, I heard there's some good travelers. There's some decent travel out there. I did hear Ontario Airport. This is kind of cool. If you're flying up to Seattle, guys, Brewery X at the Ontario Airport is offering like discounts and stuff for any of our travelers because Ontario Airport's a sponsor. And so just be aware of that if you're traveling through Ontario Airport on your way to Seattle, that you get something out of it. I think it was a really deep discount too. So just keep your eyes peeled, guys. It's kind of cool. I did see that rolling around. Now, a couple more comments from you guys, and then we're gonna close this bad boy out.
Hold on, before we go to comments, there's also I forgot something that we forgot to mention. We're gonna be back there. I know it won't be Lumen Field, but we'll be back there. So this is a good setup because we'll be back there for the U.S. Open Cup. It won't be at Lumen's, because we can
Starfire Complex, as they call it.
Yeah, Starfire Complex, but we have a certain band to blame for that. So good band, but yeah. So this is
Metallica.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Metallica. Yeah.
So this is a good opportunity to like stick it in them and make sure they remember, so they have to actually prep for us, and it's a good prep work to see where they're at the moment. So
I almost said we're gonna ride the lightning, but I'm gonna let it go. It's okay. Could have got really bad dad jokes on that one, but I'll let it go. All right. Let's see. Comments. Hey, there we go. We got invited to Amsterdam, everybody. What? Yes, we have. Dave Gomez says official Amsterdam watch party at my flat, NDSM. There we go. Yeah, if we could, we would, man. I'd love to go to Amsterdam one day, my friend. But yeah, dude, Dave's the man, checking in with us every episode, doing his thing. He's all about it. I mean, the pod fam loves Dave. There's no doubt about that. Kickball Pod's on here. He says Musto. There you go. Give him a chance at some point. Mendo is checking back in again. And he says, "What's up, Tony and Joseph, Heart of LAFC comrades, as always." Bam should be back pretty soon. Some air Sully, but when we do these middle of the night episodes, it's hard for both of them. That's for sure. But you know how it is. The fam is here when we can get them here. But yeah, life has to take its responsibilities, and so yeah, we'll get them soon. Mendo, with the sad but true, I think he was talking about where we're at there. Now, all right, got our preview down. What do you do after this, Tony? Final comments, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's get into this thing. I know it's a short end, guys, but hey, we gotta get ready for the weekend. So I'm gonna go to you, Tony. I know you got a few to say. What's your final thoughts, my friend?
Final thoughts is for those traveling, be safe out there. Again, there is a lot of things going on in the world, so just be safe out there. For those going to watch parties, have fun. Show the like. I know they can't hear you, but they can feel it and show spirits like that. We'll just Spirit Bomb, Dragon Ball Z, the deal. But
Good
overall,
vibes.
Good vibes, good vibes, good things, groovy times. And yeah, just have fun, enjoy the weekend as you can, and just be safe out there. That's all I have to say.
There we go. The ultimate in staying golden there, guys. Being safe, being responsible, showing off your colors in the right way, right? Seattle is a great place to visit. I will say that. Of course, I was there for the inaugural match. It is still an amazing place to visit. There's so much to see. Go enjoy your time while you're out there. It's totally worth it. Great time of year too to go up there. But when the whistle blows, give everything you got, man. Like, they will need the support, the full support up there. If you're up there, give everything you got. They need it. If you're down here and you can make it out to the events, I hope you can. And like Tony says, be responsible about that. And of course, we've got a lot coming up, a lot of news coming down the line. I'm sure next week's going to get real entertaining for everybody as the windows open up and we prepare for the next challenge. So on that note, let's close this bad boy out and get ready for the next one. And I will say this, the sky's not falling. A couple rough games and a long season. We'll get back to it. Tony knows. Right, Tony?
Yeah. It's
right.
You saw what happened in the beginning of the season, one of the greatest. Then we went on this crazy run. So maybe that can happen again.
We'll get back to it. And we've got reinforcements on the way, everybody. So that, on behalf of me, Joe, and Tony, final word, Tony?
Stay golden, Los Angeles.
And from me to all of you, stay golden, Los Angeles.
Thank you for listening to the Heart of LAFC. Make sure to leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher. Shoulder to shoulder, the black and gold is taking over.